Dharma's ashram, where wisdom flows, bridging east and west, the spirit grows. Voices of the ancients, stories to share. In the dance of thoughts, we find our prayer.
Welcome to Mama's Ashram. Back again with another presentation. Today, we have another time our beautiful guest Michi from Germany. Namaste, amigo. And of
Namaste.
course, my guy Madhav from India, who will share with us the knowledge of the East and the West and are here to represent them. Because we are bridging today again. And I couldn't think of an anime would be more fitting than Fullmetal Alchemist, which I really enjoyed also to watch. Watched the original one when it was out there back in the days, and Brotherhood when just a few years ago, 1 year ago
A
maybe.
decade.
A decade. Is Brotherhood already out?
I guess.
Wow,
I'm not sure either.
crazy.
Sorry.
No. Yeah, but I really enjoyed both of them and they're really intriguing. And there's lots of stuff to uncover in these. So get ready, get excited for our presentation on Fullmetal Alchemist. This was such a lovely anime. And the first thing I noticed when I was watching the first anime made from that was the father, or their original name, what they have, Van Hohenheim, which I knew from German or European history. There's a guy who has this name, and then here we have it written, Van Hohenheim. Yes. And he is a very famous alchemist. And a chemist and a philosopher and a doctor. And he has also, his full name is Philippus Theophrastus Aurelius Bombastus Paracelsus. And we know him today as just Paracelsus. Yeah.
Okay.
And in the anime, the dwarf in the flask, who will become like spoiler alert, everybody who watched this might wanna watch Fullmetal Alchemist first. Because the as we know, the dwarf in the flask becomes the father. This is how he is called in the anime. And one time when he talks to Hohenheim, the father of our protagonists in the anime, he already tells him that because he has no name, he's just a slave. And I don't remember what the name was, maybe Slave 13 or something like that. You guys remember?
I don't remember either. It's a long time ago I've watched it.
Right. Okay. But in this conversation, and the dwarf in the flesh says, or to him, maybe you should call yourself Theophrastus Bombastus. And it sounds really ridiculous at this time, but it is the actual name of Paracelsus. Yeah. Who was Paracelsus? What he did. He actually, the whole anime is about him. He was the guy who came up with the idea of the dwarf in the flask. He wanted, or with the word homunculus or homunculi, he created that word, and that word means just like a small man, you could say. Okay? And we have this depicted in the anime so well, so accurate as well. as it
Yeah.
is depicted in old books. Yeah. So what is the homunculus in this flask in this flask, or what is a homunculus in general? So what alchemy talks about is that the homunculus is in the alchemical concept goes that there has to be one prima materia. So one thing from everything comes out of, yeah, one first material thing. You could say carbon today, and the prima materia or the homunculus brings us also to another thing in history when we look at Erasmus Darwin, the grandfather of Charles Darwin. And he discovered these electric impulses in our body who can trigger certain muscles and body functions. It could stimulate. All right. What we could, see again as this prima materia in his energy form. Yeah.
Mm.
And what also led to Mary Shelley's book Frankenstein's Monster, or Dr. Frankenstein. Okay, because these were all connected in this time. They are all in the same zeitgeist, you might say. But then she could also have taken, I want to add this because she could also have taken Paracelsus as a precursor who wanted to create a homunculi, who is also like a made human, like Frankenstein's monster. Okay.
And so one question. So the person like Paracelsus and Dr. Frankenstein were involved in the idea of a human-like being. Or did I get it right? It's not exactly like a human, like we, for example, but a being who is very close to us, but has feature from another being. Is this a...
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Now I
a
get
thing
it.
like this, and also that it is man-made.
Ah, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So because Dr. Frankenstein and Erasmus Darwin, you might say, experimented with that, and like Mary Shelley just put it into a fictional novel. If it had worked, put like 7 guys together and then make him come back to life just with electricity.
Okay.
And for Paracelsus, this would be to make a human being out of the prima materia.
Okay. Yeah, get it.
Right. Okay. And in alchemy, we see there are 7 steps. Okay. It always starts there later, or they were first, I guess, compressed into 3 steps, but we come to that later. But there are also said to be 7 steps to transform something. That's what alchemy is about, yeah. As we also see in the anime, of course. Transformation. Oh, I say transmutation. Sorry.
Transmutation,
Yeah. And these 7 steps can also correlate to the 7 steps the homunculi took to transmute himself. And in these 7 forms, he took on the forms of the 7 sins.
yeah.
right? But also, what I find very interesting here in the anime, greed changes somehow the character greed. All right. And I think this will also show us where we have a bridge to the east, to the tantric way, where there is no thing like sins. And even something really not optimal, you might say, in Hinduistic terms, can lead to enlightenment or to something good. Like we see the character greed and Fullmetal Alchemist, I think. All right. Then we come to the three colors of Trinity, what we see always depicted in alchemical knowledge, books, writings, drawings, whatever it is. In every school, there are these three, or maybe sometimes four colors, if you count the yellow sun as well. And these three colors represent also the steps through alchemy. Like we saw before with the 7 steps, first it was just 3. And these 3 colors, black, white, and red, we see everywhere in the anime. Can you guess where?
I remember like every homunculite, like lust or greed or gluttony, they were dressed in black, red, and their skin color was always white.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, nice one. Nice
And
observation.
and also red was the color of the Philosopher's Stone, but I guess that will become later, and I don't want to grab it before we get to the topic.
Yeah. Red is like the last step in the alchemical process as well. So it starts with black, then white, and then red. But we will see why and how later. But also, if you want to take the 4th color in, the yellow, we see it directly in the guy in
Oh,
Fullmetal
Jesus.
Alchemist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Black and white reminds me of what was the door? What was it called? Door. Oh,
Reminds
the
me
door.
of
The
Edward
entity. What was the entity called? No, the entity. Where the
Homunculi.
door opened. No, there was this one supreme entity who
Like
took his brother's body. It was brother's body.
Truth.
Truth.
The
Ah,
truth. Yeah.
truth.
The truth is also shown with black and white. In black and white.
Yeah, right.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. It comes in many forms in the anime. It's really sometimes it's hidden, sometimes it's in plain sight, like just the clothes of Edward is, you know, already indicating all of these 4 or 3 steps.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here we see the alchemical process. All right. First, it starts always with the black, with death or dying. Okay. It is in alchemy, it is called nigredo. And you would say, if we would apply it in practical terms, you just burn something down to the ashes. Right. And then there comes the white step, in alchemical terms, albedo, means cleansing. Practical, again, you would just wash the ash or filter the ash somehow. And then there comes the red step, which already reminds us of the Philosopher's Stone. And it's called rubedo. And it is representing the manifestation or the rising, or maybe you could say also the rebirth. After we died, we purified, and then we're born again. And I think this is a thing we see in many old traditions. Yeah, with all the rising and dying and rising gods out there, also with Jesus who came back.
but not only in religion, I would say. There's also the creature of a phoenix. It's the same process. He's in red and flame colors, coded or pictured, and he dies and reborns as a new being or as a new phoenix. It's the process of, you can say, cleansing. I remember the scene in, was it Harry Potter, the second part, what the cavern of, I don't know in English the term.
Chamber of Secrets.
Yes, Chamber of Secrets, right. And Dumbledore had this phoenix creature like a pet in his room, and he was very old, so he got up in flames, burned to ashes, and in the ashes lied the new phoenix baby and was reborn. Yeah.
Right.
So it's not just in religion, but yeah, in Christianity, it's kind of the same. In Christianity, you have to let you the in Christianity the what do I say? The premise is you let the worst part of yourself die, and only the good parts who are worthy of God uh, should remain to get to heaven. And if I'm not wrong, there's also the picture of the Heaven's Gate, where are, I don't know the right term for this rank of angels who protecting the the gates of heaven, but they have also swords, flaming swords, and it's a symbolic term to cut and burn everything what's not worthy to enter heaven away from you. So that's
Yeah.
like mythologically, Christianity, alchemy have all the same idea of reincarnation, you could say.
Yeah. Reincarnation or purification. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
purification.
something, that is, the biggest idea in alchemy. They do it with materials, but it's also, the inner alchemy, the inner alchemist, and, the esoteric seeing, because in alchemy also everything was connected. Yeah, the macro and the microcosmos was, interlinked. And then everything what you do outside, you would also try to do inside to purify or make yourself golden, you could say.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. And I see, I would even go further and say we see it in all the cyclic movements we have, right? So it could also represent time. It could be writing to the day and night circle. The sun is dying and it's purifying herself in the moon, who shines like white, and then at dawn rises, it's really red. So it's again the
Yeah.
night, the moon, and the rising of the sun again. Yeah. Also, you might say we humans do it every day when we go to sleep. We purify our mental and emotional system, because that's what yoga talks about, or really does, to activate the parasympathicus, right? To not be in the stress mode, yeah, and to heal yourself. That's what you do at night, purify and heal, and then in the morning you rise up again and you have a rebirth.
Hmm.
Yeah, this Trinity, I think we can connect to all around the world, and we see it, for example, in yoga and the Ayurveda. But maybe, Matt, if you can speak a bit on the Ayurveda, what does the word mean? But I want to give you a little hint here already with the colors again.
So even according to the Hindu philosophy, also the Sankhya philosophy that we discussed before, the entire nature is made of three qualities, which is tamas, sattva, and rajas. And Ayurveda comes from the Vedas, and the etymology behind Ayurveda is that Ayur comes from life, and Veda is knowledge. So the knowledge of life. And tamas represents stillness, lack of motion, and sattva is creation and bliss, and creation. If we have to compare it with stillness, that is tamas, and rajas is transformation, movement, and these three qualities are everywhere in the nature. It is divided in 33.3, 33.3% ratio. And when one of these go up in the human body, things start to go wrong. Unless it's sattva. More sattva means more awareness, bliss, and closeness to the truth.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, I think we can, already the terms you used seem to be alchemical in a view, this transformation, this transmutation, and this is what alchemy talks about, the rajas, the philosopher's stone, who transmute everything. Yeah, he's the ultimate tool for transmutation. And we see it here in the rajas the same, because rajas means transformation, and it's red. Right. The next thing we have is another Trinity.
Also in astrology, I'd like to add that in astrology, the red color is connected with Mars, because Mars is red and it has the red energy. And Mars is also always connected with transformation, because Mars is if you have to personify Mars, it would be the army head, the captain.
Right.
And
would you also
most
compare Mars with Kali maybe?
with Kali? Yeah, I will, because Mars is again very aggressive, very energetic, just like Kali. Also, I'll tell you another very interesting fact, that in Kali Yuga, which is the current yuga, the current age, according to the scriptures,
Yeah.
it is Durga, and Durga, the goddess, another manifestation for Kali, and Hanuman, who is also the head, the king, the ruler of Mars. These two have been given the responsibility. Yeah, Durga and Hanuman are the like the rulers of Kali Yuga. And if you impress them, your time in Kali Yuga will be easy and good.
Beautiful. All right.
Okay.
And both of them are greatly influenced, are greatly connected with Mars and transformation. Because Kali also transforms, right? She kills and transforms.
Absolutely. Yeah. She's like I think like, when I think of the Hindu gods, when I think about transformation, I think about Kali, she's the one who's like transforming everything, and she's relentless with it. Yeah. You never, nobody can stop her also, So I think she represents also a bit, just the time. The time, this like everything eating time, and always, give something new as well. But yeah.
Yeah, and if we have to talk more about creation and destruction and transformation, and there's the Hindu Trinity, which is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Brahma is the creator, and Vishnu is the preserver, and Mahesh is Shiva, is the destroyer. So he destroys and transforms. He destroys so that newer stuff can be created.
Yes,
And we
absolutely.
again have the cycle
And
of
Vishnu,
death.
And this reminds me that Vishnu is always connected with the color yellow, and Shiva with black, and Brahma with white.
Ah,
I just recalled. Yes. Yeah.
wow. Yeah, there we have another connection. You know, we saw the white in some and the yellow, I mean, in some alchemical books and stuff is written. It is yeah, mostly it is depicted white, yellow sometimes instead of red. No. Crazy. Yeah, we see this everywhere, as we say. Also, I think in Egypt, what we see here, there would be Osiris, which is considered to be the death. We see again with the black, and then we have Isis, who represents healing. We can again say, you know, purification, healing while we're during a sleep. Yeah. And then we have Horus, who represents harmony and perfection. What we can see in the concept of the Philosopher's Stone again. When you have like reached this rebirth, come to the redness, then you have the Philosopher's Stone, which is perfect. Yeah. Said to be.
Or at least in the balance of the life and death, I would say.
Yeah, talking about perfection is another topic, if there's really something like that, if that
If
can
there is
be.
something like that, yeah. But it's a topic for another time, not today.
Right. So let's move on to the Shinto culture we have in Japan. And they have these masks. Yeah, Michi, you have something to add? Question?
No, the first thing I noticed was the three colors again, yellow,
Colors.
red, and black. But
Absolutely.
there's barely any white in it.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that
You
was
can
just
also, yeah. This is how it is. Sometimes also the white is represented as golden. Yeah. But we are associated to this color is very similar as again. So black would be here associated to, this is also in Taoism, it would be associated to chaos in a spiritual sense.
yeah.
White would be purifying, on the connection to the sacred.
Or if you use the word for black chaos, it would be then the opposite, and the opposite of chaos is order.
Right, or cosmos. This is what the word really means. Cosmos means order. And it is the Greek word for it. And this is the two opposites who are fighting.
I didn't know that. I didn't knew that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is how they say it in the Shinto culture. And red means here protection and vitalizing. It marks also the transition and the energy of life. So I think here we have another connection to this like energetical force, this prima materia in an energy force, energy form, which is also represented by the Philosopher's Stone. Then we have in Jujutsu, we have this symbol. And comes also out of the Taoistic or the Buddhism philosophies and traditions. And it is called the Gankil Ananda Chakra. Ananda Chakra means Ananda means joy, and chakra, as we know, is the wheel. So it means like kind of the wheel of joy. And you can find this also in Tibetan Buddhism. You might have seen like these huge mandalas they are drawing with like this little sand and everything, and then at the end they destroy it again, which yeah, which represents again, this rebirth and this cyclic notion about time and life. And then we come.
I have another
Sure.
comparison with astrology. Can you go back to I just it just came to my mind. The red represents Mars, black represents Saturn, and white represents Moon. Moon represents movement. And Saturn represents slowness because Saturn is the slowest planet, right? It represents tamas, um, slowness. Yeah, it makes things slow. In Mars is transformation. So black stops, Saturn stops. White pushes as a because it represents movement, which is also why Moon is the ruler of the mind because mind always moves, right? And Mars is like the middle path. Transformation requires to stop and to begin, stop and to begin. The Moon, Mars, and Saturn represent movement, stoppage, and transformation.
Wow. And we see it in the colors, we see it in the skies, man. Crazy.
I'm also trying to link the color yellow with it. Yellow is represented by Jupiter, but I don't know. I don't know how to put this in the current situation because Jupiter is knowledge and growth because it is the biggest planet next in the deck. So I'm not sure how it fits in here.
Right. If I am I thinking correctly, Jupiter is also in the Hellenism, in the Greek mythology. He's like the father of everything, right? He's like the first entity, and then after him comes Kronos, and then after Kronos comes Zeus as the ruling sky fathers. Yeah. So yeah, he could be like the highest of everyone, if we want to compare the yellow to the perfect, yeah, they're already purified material, the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's move on to the west. And we have here in Celtic, Riquetta, it's called. These symbol here inside, this is what this is, Triqueta. And this comes from another sign you might know. It actually comes from 3 circles.
Yeah.
Right, so here inside we have this 3 quarter. And these represent, of course, also in the West, in the in Christianity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, the body, the mind, the soul, life, death, rebirth. Yeah, what we have everywhere depicted in Christianity as well.
Yeah.
All right. Now we come to the Ouroborus. You know this word?
Ouroborus, no.
I think they talk about it in the anime as well. And so the Ouroboros is these tattoos they have. Especially more precise, it is the dragon or the snake eating her own tail.
Okay. Yeah, it's familiar, the symbol. Up, not only familiar because I watched the anime, but also familiar. I don't know where else I see it. I can't imagine right now, but it's a common symbol. And serpent
Yeah.
is eating itself, and it's
Mm,
closed in and by itself.
right, right. Yes, it is everywhere. Literally everywhere in the world. People had this symbol. I show you a few pictures here. This is Egypt. And here it is surrounded by a snake eating its own tail.
Yeah.
This is the Celtics, the Northerns. They have the same. I also talk about the what's the name of the snake? Well, it's like the world snake who surrounds all the waters of the earth.
Mhm.
And I think it was Thor who slayed her. And we see this also in the games like God of War or something like that. Assassin's Creed, I guess. All right, and this is South America.
Uh,
These are the Maya or Inca. I don't remember one of them.
yeah, more
Right,
detailed, but same symbol.
it's the same symbol. It's such an old symbol. Because also what I want to recognize, or say here, that why we have this shown also all around the world and why it is a snake is that scientists found out that we are triggered in our evolutionary process as humans to see snakes very quickly and try to avoid them. Right, so our perception is already engineered to look for snakes all the
Yeah,
time.
but that's in relation to because snakes are predators, and we human are a hybrid of prey animals and predators. So we have like the awareness of other predators to dodge them, and uh, my mind is right now a little bit confused because I have so much to say to the symbolic of a snake by itself. Because, for example, in world famous story, the nearly first story in the Bible, the story of Adam and Eve. It was Eve who got seduced by a snake, and it's interesting that there is the snake. Eve was a snake because the snake is a symbolic animal for uh, or let me say it this way, a snake has some features like it's cold-blooded, it's a predator, and for the story of Adam and Eve, in my opinion, most interesting part is the snake got a split tongue and he seduced her, so he lied to her or told her something that's not quite true, or well, it was true, they got aware of themselves like he promised, but no, he didn't promise they got aware of themselves. He promised her that Adam and Eve, if they eat this apple, they're gonna be more like God. And it wasn't this the way that he said it. It was like they got just self-aware about themselves, and after they ate the apple, both were ashamed of themselves because they were noticed they were naked. So it's like after eating the apple, they got conscious of themselves. Yeah. And I find it interesting because it was the snake, a cold-blooded predatory animal with a split tongue who lied to the woman and the man.
Mm,
So
yes, oh man, the snake. Yeah, we have this like really negative association with it in Christianity. But also, what is represented here, the Ouroboros, isn't actually that negative thing. Yeah, what we see also in these depictions here with the Maya or Inca, and in the north and in Egypt. People of the ancient times would associate the snake more with like rebirth and immortality, because it sheds this skin, and so they see it as like this is something, okay, it can renew itself, so it will be immortal, it will live forever because it can't do that. But what we here see with the coming together with the sign of the Ouroboros eating his own tail, we see another like these cycling notions, yeah, of night and day, light and chaos, light and darkness, chaos and cosmos or order. Yeah, the circle of life and time. And also, what we see is a union of opposites. Okay, because we could interpret the snail's tail as the male genitalia and the mouth of the snake as the female. So if a snake opens its mouth, if you ever see a video where it is like that,
Yeah.
that looks a bit like Ioni.
Yeah, sure. I didn't see it that way because if I say see a snake has opens his mouth, I'm threatened, to be honest. But not because I see that because the venom who's in it, more like. And that's also a thing about the snake. It's just in I don't know if it's the same symbol all around the world in all pharmacy. Uh,
Oh, we
uh,
come to that. We come to that.
okay.
We come to that.
Okay.
Yeah. It is venomous, so it is connected also to you could say drugs in
Yeah.
the English way of using it. Like a pharmacological way to use it, like a
Yeah.
drugstore, like any drug.
Yeah, but it's
Um,
also venomous, it's poisonous, but also the antidote are made of the venom. So that's because it's a symbol of pharmaceutical companies, some of them, I guess, buy it.
right,
Not, egal. Anyway.
right. Yeah, we come to that. What it also represents a bit for me is the yin yang on Taoism symbol. Union of opposites. And we have a scripture of the Pista Sophia. It's the Gnostic scripture, which describes this dragon, they say in here. No, it's not a snake, it's a dragon, as the 12-parted dragon. The Ouroboros is a 12-parted dragon. That's what the Pista Sophia says. And there we have another representation for the time, for astrology, the 12 symbols, zodiac signs, and the circle of time, and the yearly circle, which could also be represented as a dying of the sun. It's getting like colder and colder and colder, and the sun has less power, and then it dies eventually and purifies and rebirths itself. And then we get another year. This is the Ouroboros. And then the other symbol on these homunculi, we say, well, the Ouroboros, and in the middle, there's always this symbol, the Star of David, you could say. But in alchemical terms, it represents something very specific and maybe different. So in alchemical terms, water is always represented as a downwards triangle and fire is the upwards triangle. These are the main elements. The other elements might be more, sight elements. There are like versions of fire and versions of water. This is because they don't have an own symbol, so they are just with a straight line through it. But if you combine any of these, two of them, you get the sign for the ether. Right? If you combine water and fire, you get the ether, which is the fifth element in canonical terms. We could also say the quintessence, because quint means fifth, and the essence is the essence. So the fifth element. Yeah, water represents, of course, the feminine side, fire the masculine side. So, again, the union of the opposites, female and male part together, is what this sign represents as well. And we see that in India also, with they have the Shri Yantra, which is the symbol out of triangles, but there's lots more to it. But you could find this in there as well. And we also have a symbol called the Shiva's Yantra. Shiva, we don't know. And the Yantra is also like a representation of the god in a geometrical form, right? So this symbol is Shiva. This is the symbol. It's the same symbol.
Okay.
Right there again. Yeah. Nowadays, we know, of course, the Jews use it as their symbol, but it is very, very old, and it has collections again, and many, many different traditions and mystery schools all around the world.
And you see that these little triangles that are being formed when they intersect, when the two triangles intersect,
Yeah.
they have the same area, the same size. It's so as above, so below. All is one, one is all.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. This principle, this hermetic principle, you can apply here everywhere. This is a basic understanding of the alchemical thinking, is that the macrocosmos and the microcosmos are connected. Yeah. So they read from the stars, and everything that comes in that connects or influences the earthly, the material side, the mind side, and the spirit side. Yeah. As above, so below.
Okay.
Okay, so now back to Fullmetal Alchemist. Now we have this one more time to show you there is lots of going on where they use these symbols. And we have this here in Japanese, even. Here we have the Hindu and you have the Armenian, the Ethiopian, the Romans. You can see a bit, this is also influenced, I reckon, by the North, because they do this like intertwining. Where this one goes up, one goes down, one goes up, one goes down.
Yeah.
Phoenicians, Mesopotamians, Hindus, Egypts, and the Bactrian Empire, even them, which is a really interesting topic in itself, the Bactrian Empire, which was like a Greek little kingdom on the Silk Road near the Caucasus and between the Caucasus and the Himalayan region. So it really stretched out to the east. Right, but now back to Fullmetal Alchemist. So yeah, what we see here is Scar from Fullmetal Alchemist, the guy who had like his brother's arm somehow made his own arm. Again, I want to notice the colors.
Pretty familiar, I would say.
What?
pretty familiar, those colors in this picture.
And
Absolutely.
now when you're talking about blue and sorry, this also black, yeah. When you talk about Mars, sorry, red, white, and yellow, this also reminds me of another astrological reference, another astrological connection. That the best combinations that you can have in your chart, according to astrology, are Moon and Mars combined, or Jupiter and Moon combined, or even Mars and Jupiter combined. And if there's all three of them, then wow, that's very rare. All three of them together.
Okay, didn't know that. Crazy. Okay, man.
And
I think
and
we are on to something here.
the conjunction of Moon and Mars, or Moon and Jupiter, sorry, Mars and Jupiter, or Moon and Jupiter, are called Gajkisari Yoga, which is the most auspicious conjunction in Vedic astrology.
Okay. Auspicious. This is also what Shiva means, no? Shiva is the auspicious one.
Could be. I'm not sure. Auspicious in a way that, well, if it's Moon and Jupiter, then the person will be immaculately intelligent. Like he could achieve any heights with his intelligence. And if it's Moon, Jupiter and Mars, then he could do anything with his strength, which is also wise. It's not just mad energy; it is flown energy, like
Wow,
army
yeah.
army commander Moon, special intelligence. That's that sort of.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I think we can see here again another hint that we should, unify the opposites and, become this middle thing, the balance, the harmony in between. Right. But let's get back here to Fullmetal Alchemist and Scar, who is using another kind of alchemy. They call it Alkahestry. Right. His brother, he wanted to unite alchemy and alkahestry. This is because he had these like two arms, and one was creation, one was destruction. And Scar only had this destruction part. And also the girl from the Qing Empire, the like Chinese girl in the anime.
Yeah.
She uses also alkahestry. So what is alkahestry? We don't know really, because it seems like an imaginary word. But what I found was actually in alchemical terms, we have a word which is Alkahest. Okay. And it basically means like something has to do with the medicine. All right. It is also contributed to the liquid inside of the Philosopher's Stone. It's also called Aether. And it is, we have another picture of it, and it is also said to break down any composter to its fundamental components. It is also called the elixir of life. And this particular term we hear in Fullmetal Alchemist. There's this one guy, Dr. Marco, I think, and he uses this stuff, which is like liquefied the stone, the Philosopher's Stone, to heal and help people.
Um, uh, if I'm not wrong and I remember it correctly, this liquid is it's not just like quite not quite just like the Philosopher's Stone, because if I'm not wrong, the philosopher everyone wants to chase the Philosopher's Stone in the anime because it has unimaginable powers. And it is a sub-form of it. It's not quite pure as the Philosopher's Stone by itself, but it has characteristics of the Philosopher's Stone. It enhanced the use of alchemy, or one's use of alchemy in the anime.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and it's great that you mentioned that. Because you remember where he gets this stuff from?
Uh, like I said, it's a long time. I don't remember. Just tell me. Maybe it will come up.
So he calls it the elixir of life, and he gets it from humans.
Ah, yeah,
In the
yeah.
same way as they try to manifest the Philosopher's Stone, they're doing this in an unperfected way. Yeah, it's like the essence, the
Mm,
elixir of life. It's the elixir of a soul. So they need humans for that. You could
mm,
also say it's the spirit, it's the life force, it's the chi, or in yogic terms, it's the Kundalini energy. Okay. And what do we see on Scar's arm? You see the Caduceus, also called the Hermes staff.
the Hermes stuff, yeah.
This is also a
Martin, can you go?
representation of the
Yeah,
Kundalini.
sorry, please.
And I also want to
Yeah,
notice the colors. But Madhav, go ahead.
yeah, the Kundalini is yeah, this was a huge breakthrough. The Kundalini, I was not expecting this. But what I was about to say also is also gonna blow your minds. Go back to the elixir of life photo. Elixir, right?
Yeah.
Say again?
Can you go back to the elixir of life?
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
Yeah.
you know Soma, right, Martin? Soma.
Yes, I know so
Do
much.
you know what do you know what color Soma is?
Tell us.
What do you think?
It is red.
It is
I think it's
amber.
red.
It is amber and red. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is almost golden red.
What the hell, man? What the hell?
And for those
This
and for
is
those who do not know what Soma is the elixir of life according to the Vedas. It makes you immortal, and it is what the gods drink.
Okay.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This is crazy, man. And I know for a fact that the word soma is etymologically connected to our word in German or English, God. It was the word Gota, and Gota is connected to the Indian word Soma. Yeah.
Kind of spooky, man.
Getting too deep for the Christian here.
Uh, Not for the Christian, it's how do I say it? For me, all those Hinduistic terms and everything on the east part is very, very new. I didn't confront those topics as thoroughly as I did with the Christian philosophy or religion, and I have enough to do with those concepts. So I didn't have the time or the, how do I say it? The need to go further, because I was fully satisfied right now and I'm still struggling with it. So Yeah, for me, it's just like, goddamn, it's not just in my religion, those things. It's so many more things than I imagined in every other culture or religion or belief system. And kind of frightening, yeah. Or interesting, to be honest, and amazing at the same time. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, bridging the East and West. That's Mama's ashram for you.
that's Mama Ashrams. I notice it.
Now you're in, you're in the cabin, Michi. Now you're deep in the rabbit hole with us in Mama's Ashram. You know, it has lots of basement um structures inside. You only see the beautiful cabin, but man, it goes deep.
Yeah, and yeah, yeah. I lost of words, man.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's what we want to achieve here,
Yeah,
right?
now let's get back to the Kundalini and the colors black, white, and red. Mm.
Okay. So you want to talk about that, Maref, or should I go on?
Yeah, yeah, please go on, please go on.
All right. So what I wanted to say here is we talked about the Kundalini, we talked about the staff of Mercury, which is called the Caduceus. And this could also represent the Kundalini and the chakra system. You know, these where these snakes interact and cross each other. This is where our these chakra points are supposed to be. And then in the yogic philosophy, we have these nadis, like energy can pipes through our body. And we have the Sushumna nadi, which is like a straight line, which could you also represent as the spine, you know. But these are not physical pipes, they are like energy pipes, right? And we have the Inga, and the Pingala nadis, who go like this, who go up the spine like a snake, crossing each other till to the seventh chakra. Also, why is Mercury having this star, this staff? We know from in Roman terms it is called Mercury. This is the guy. But in Greek, we have the same god with a different name called Hermes. What is Hermes? Hermes is also the messenger. Yeah, he brings like the messages between the gods. This is because he has this like flying boots to be really quick. Hermes we know also um from the Hermetic from the Hermetic principles. Hermes Trismegistus is the one supposed to have these written down, to came up with these Hermetic laws. And Hermes Trismegistus means just the thrice great Hermes. What we also have, why is this guy having the Caduceus? We still don't know. But if we look at the planets, the planet Mercury is called Buddha in Hindu
Okay.
and in Hindu traditions. And what do we see here? The Buddha on the side with the staff and the snake.
Huh.
And
Yeah.
today, of course, we see the symbol and lots of I can't say that word
Pharmaceutical.
today. Pharmaceutical, thank you. Pharmaceutical companies and in the in drugstores or just on medicine. Yeah, you can see that everywhere.
Okay. But you said Hermes have why? Also, you asked the question, why does Hermes have this staff? And
Yeah, I'm answering that with the Buddha comes from the Buddha. The Buddha had first the staff, and it goes to the Greek world and to the Roman world and becomes Mercury and Hermes. The Buddha is, of course, associated with Kundalini yoga or with yoga and the ascending of the soul.
Okay, okay. Yeah, but also, right up on top of my head, Hermes was the god the messenger, and like we said, the serpent or the snake has both is venom and antidote by itself, and that's um, I would say that's very nice represented by those two snakes intertwined around the staff. And if you think about this way, a message or the word can be both, can be punishing or healing for other. And also it's like the duality again of good and evil. So that Hermes have the staff could mean I don't know. It's just what I imagine right now. Could also mean that as a messenger you can have good messages for someone or also bad messages, and that's why he's the keeper of this hermit staff.
Mhm. Beautiful. Yes, nice one. And I would also add to your infinite story about the snake in the Garden Eden. I don't know if this is correct, but I think the snake it also it has a message for Eve. You know, it has this message that if you eat this and this could be that, and also what Eve and Adam get out of eating the fruit of good and evil, the knowledge of good and evil, is
Yeah,
all the senses, all the conscience and
conscience.
the
Yeah.
awareness of what is good and what is bad. That's why they feel ashamed, and this comes only through the senses. So now they could really see that they are naked, and this
Mm.
this motion of seeing is a messenger. The senses are messengers for our brain.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can see what you mean. But I just side. It's not related to just what you said, but related to the staff and the snake on it. There's also a story in in the Bible where Moses walked the the Jews, the Israeli people, out of the tyranny of the Egypts through the desert for 40 years. And in those time, there's a story where also is the symbolic uh, or is the symbol of a staff and a snake on top of it used. And it's quite interesting because they are in the desert and in the desert there are a lot of snakes and the people got bitten by the snakes, so they were pretty upset about it and went to Moses and said to Moses, yeah, ask God if he could remove the snakes and so we don't get bitten by it and die of them.
Mm.
And Moses did go to God and asked him, but God didn't remove the snakes at all. He just said, cast a snake in bronze and put it on a staff and carry the staff in front of you.
Oh,
And
wow.
this is also also the meaning. You have the threat, you have the poison or the danger, but the solution of it is not removing the danger. It's be aware of the danger and put it in front of you and carry it right where you want to go. Something like that.
Wow.
I have to read the story again to put it right, but it's somewhere the story in the back of my mind.
Wow, man, that is amazing. Also, that Moses had this staff. He made the staff. God
It,
told him to make this fucking staff.
yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I have to read the story again, but I guess I'm pretty sure there was something like that. What's also again a staff and a snake.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Wow. That's amazing, man. Crazy.
Martin
Yeah.
and Martin, if he can also try to bridge the east and the west here when we're talking about Hermes and snakes and stuff. So, yeah. So can you go back to the Hermes slide?
The what?
The Hermes slide. The Hermes with his stuff. Yeah. So Hermes, I just got. I did not know this that he was the messenger of gods. Right? He's the messenger of gods. In Hinduism, the messenger of gods is Narad Muni, and he also flies. Matlab, he doesn't really fly. He teleports to God's realm and to the human realm. And he does not have a staff, but he has an instrument. It is called the veena, which is the Indian string instrument. And strings, in which how strings oscillate, the vibration of strings, how they happen. They happen in a snake-like motion.
You're
This
absolutely
is
right.
also in physics. This is also in physics. I've read this before. The theory is called string theory. That says that the universe is not point uh, like things. Rather, they are vibrating strings. And
Oh,
also in physics, they also compare the vibration of strings with snakes because they have serpentine motion. This is string theory in physics.
oh my God, man. Wow. Wow. That reminds me also, if we say it's a messenger, it's energy is what's messaging is, what is the most like primitive form of messaging in the energy is oscillating. Yeah. They have the one and the zero, up and down. Right. So yeah, Hermes, the Hindu messenger god, and Mercury, as we discovered, and also the Buddha are connected. Yeah. At least with the planets. And also what I wanted to show you here is the colors again, of course, as you see all the time, and of course Buddha with the staff. And yeah, this is linked to the Kundalini energy which we talked a little bit before. And yeah, so the two snakes are also connected to like the sun and the moon, and the seven chakras and the points where they cross each other, and the nadis, as we talked about before. Yeah, so that was that, and then we come to another interesting thing I found, which is this stone.
Okay.
Okay. So here we have another time the colors, red, white, and black. This
Yeah.
stone is called Cinnabar. It's the material. Well, yeah, the mineral. Usually it is found like that, like this. But if you really polish it and make it beautiful, most of the time it looks like this.
Huh, interesting.
It reminds us of the Philosopher's Stone, of course.
Yeah, Philosopher's Stone out of the
And
anime.
right, it's always connected with the red color. And we saw already the connection to Buddha and Hermes is Mercury, the planet. And guess what comes out of this stone if you burn it?
Actually, I don't have any clue.
It's Mercury.
No way. Okay, Mercury. Yeah.
Alright, the stone is a mercury sulfate, and if you burn it, you get mercury,
Yeah.
which was also considered by many alchemists to be yeah, this prima materia in a liquid form. Some say also blood would be the prima materia, and I think there was another one. I don't remember. But yeah, some say Mercury, blood, and all of this is the first step. And we see in Paracelsus alchemical things they would talk about salt, sulfur, and mercury would be like the three main ingredients they can use to transmute everything.
Mm.
Okay. Then there was just a little side thing I found. Let's get back to Fullmetal Alchemist. Is with the truth character. And I think now it's getting really interesting. And also, this lets us bridge the East and the West pretty well. Again, of course, the colors, as everyone is seeing. And yeah, what we see or what we know about this character, Truth, and the anime is it is always shown as like a hollow version of oneself.
Mm.
Right? Everybody who goes into this realm where they meet the truth, and the gate of truth is there as well. They are shown like a hollow version of themselves, right?
Yeah.
Which, could mean also because he knows everything and he's like this entity who has like no really shape to it, and the Christians say, you shouldn't have a picture of God.
Mm.
So lots of people also refer to the truth character as God.
Yeah, true. In Christianity, the truth is pretty much equivalent to God, or a synonym of God is truth, if you interpret it this way, or if you have the possibility to interpret it this way. Let's say it this way. Yeah.
Yeah. And would you also say in Fullmetal Alchemist the truth character is God? When you watch
Mhm.
the series, would you say that he was God or something like that?
To be honest, I distinct those two. Like, yeah, the truth lies within God, but the truth is more universal than God itself. It's hard to put it in words, to be honest. But they are very close linked, and I didn't get the impression after watching the anime that this person should represent God. More like it should represent the truth on the earth.
Okay. Okay. So just like the name implied.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would also say, yeah, what we call like an ultimate principle or something like that. Could be truth, could be God. Yeah. I think it's just a different name for the same thing,
Mm.
but it's just my personal view. Um, and what we see in Fullmetal Alchemist is also like a dual character of God, if we would refer to this entity as God. Because what we see, um, we have that here behind the gate of yes of truth. What is it called in the anime? The gate of truth. There's another entity, this like blackness with one eye and like tentacles or arms coming out grabbing you. Right. So this would we could see as the counterpart of God, or like one part of it as well. So the hollow version of oneself isn't just the whole thing. There's also this like black version of it.
Yeah, duality again, like in Taoism.
Right. In Taoism, we have it in Samkhya, which is a dualistic philosophy. They don't say that these two principles come into one and create God. but in the Vedic scriptures, that is how it is seen, right, Madhav?
Yeah. This is kind of now that you say that, now that you say, I'm able to relate somehow.
Yeah. Okay, so you could also see this in a Christian view, where if truth is God, this black thing behind the door would be the devil, or Lucifer, or Satan. And it represents as well, when you watch the anime, the homunculus bride, he has like something like this form. He has he can become like this thing with only eyes and only arms and black mass thingy.
Yeah.
And also the dwarf in the glass, so the father, would be, before he became this father form and has this human form, he's just like a black mass with one eye and some arms.
Mm.
Yeah. And if we compare it to Lucifer, which means light bringer, and is also connected to Venus, the morning star. And yeah, it 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 is connected to the knowledge, the light bringer, yeah, who brings like the light or the knowledge to people. We could also
Mm.
connect it to the snake in Garden Eden, who gives the knowledge of good and evil. Yeah, gives the humans this knowledge. And I think ultimately we see in the anime reflected that truth and also the father version, or the father character, are connected, because in many stories we see also that Lucifer, in the Christian story, for example, we see Lucifer wants to become God,
Yeah, godlike.
godlike. What one father, the homunculi, the black mass, he wants to become godlike.
Mm.
Yeah. That's why he wants all to do all this stuff. And I think, therefore, I think that these are two like versions of ourselves to live inside of us, because we see it when we go into this astral realm, and we see the truth character, and behind the door is the father character, or like this other darker entity.
Yeah.
And I think these are connected to our soul or our astral body. And this brings us again to the teachings of the ancients. We talked a lot about what we see in in the East, in the Vedic scriptures, what we see in the philosophies in the West, in the Temple of Apollon in Delphi. Know thyself. This is what this series, I think, is about. This whole anime, right? Because only when they grasp like these, when they have been in this dimension and have been seen this gate and the truth character, they can also perform alchemy without any circle, without any of these how they say transmutation circles. Because they only do it by clapping, and then I think because they understood, because they knew, or they have something figured out about themselves, that their body represents this transmutation circle as well. And you can form it with your hands clapping, or your hands coming together, you can form a circle. And this we can see in the asana or mudra notions in the East, and the alchemical notions in the West. And if we talk about knowing thyself, it is actually what was written there is this in the Temple of Ambala. I don't know, maybe Mad, if you can elaborate on the Sanskrit scriptures as well. But this translation means not just knowing. So the first word is like gnosti, and then seauton. And seauton is just thyself. But gnosti, we know from Gnosticism, we know from Gnosticology, which is like the science also came out of like the greatest philosophers out of the Greek ancient times, which describes everything what we can know or we can realize, you would say. I think to realize yourself would be a more perfect or more accurate translation. Because, knowing is not what the word Gnostic means. It means more like knowledge out of insight or experience. Maybe something like wisdom more compared to that. So I would say this means more realizing thyself than knowing thyself. And
Yeah,
this is
but one
what,
oh,
yeah,
sorry.
no, go ahead.
But what is necessary to realize oneself? What would you say? What is a keystone to just realize your true being?
The mysteries.
The mysteries.
Yes, the
Uh,
mysteries. The
I
mysteries are
thought
the
more
key.
about I thought more about you need to know the truth again.
Mhm.
You need to know your true self and not lying to yourself to realize who you really are. Like back to the anime, where it's necessary to perform alchemy, you need to see the truth by itself to perform transmutations without circle or an external force or symbol. It's like internal. It puts the necessary requirement internal in yourself, and it's only accessible with knowing the truth by itself, your true self.
Beautiful. Yes. Yes, absolutely nice. Yeah, you put that together. Well,
Yeah.
sweet. Yeah. In the context of this of the anime, I would say absolutely you're right. Yeah. What the ancient Greeks would use to know themselves are the mysteries, and I guess the Eastern yogics would just practice yoga, yeah, to know themselves.
Mm.
Because yoga, also means just union.
Okay. Yeah, true, true.
So yeah. And also these two guys, Father and Hohenheim, they were known in the anime. Now we get a little bit more into geographics. So where did this whole thing take place?
Mm.
Yeah. So Hohenheim, who was like the good guy, and he went or didn't want to use the souls he had in himself through the whole process of father becoming father. Yeah, he wouldn't want to use them, and he got to know them, and he like made a connection with them. And then in the anime they call him the philosopher of the East because he went to the East and taught the Eastern people in the anime, the Sing Empire or the Sing world, um the Sing nation, uh Alkahestry. So he was like the father of Alkahestry. And father came to the west, to our mistress and the other places, and taught alchemy. And he was called the philosopher of the West. And then we see that hypothesis of that the main human ideas and society came out from one place and spread to the east and to the west. Right? So it all comes out of this Xerxes city.
Yeah, have the same. Both philosophies have the same root, but
Right.
got carried around, and by carrying those across the world, they kind of transmute and changed a little bit, but in the core principle, they're pretty equal.
Right. Yeah, because they come out of the same ideas of the same people, let's say. And I think we can see this a bit in real life as well. And you see like Taoism and Buddhism, who are like more the philosophies of the East, which don't need an entity to worship. Yeah, they have like principles, and they go for this, but they don't have like a being, a god, to have this. We see the same in the Samkhya philosophy. It's atheistic. It says there's this worldly observative materiality, and there's this ultimate observer, but this ultimate observer is not a god or anything. It's just a principle, and we don't need to worship it. It's just there. And we see the same in Taoism, Buddhism, and I think this is like kind of the way Hohenheim took, and to teach this Alkahestry and in the thing, what we see in the anime. And father on the other side, we see in the West, we have all the time, we had always something with deities, even before monism, before we had Christianity and Judaism and Islam, we would still worship deities. We would like I think it was even more sophisticated in the ancient times to have like a deity like Demeter or Athena, who are like connected to equality, fairness, justice. Yeah. We have a god for justice in the Hellenism times, and then it becomes a persona, but it is also the principle of justice. Yeah, right. So I think this leads us to the Xerxes city, where it all started. This is how it is shown in the anime. And what automatically comes to mind if you hear the name of the city is Xerxes is the name of a Persian king. We know maybe from 300, the Spartan movie.
Yeah, true.
The fight on the Thermopylae. I don't know how to say it in English. Yeah, where Leonidas and his 300 men fought. They fought against Xerxes. And what is also very interesting, what I found out, is the name of the city the Fullmetal Alchemist and everyone is living in, or the country, is Amestris, yeah? You might remember, or maybe not.
Yeah, I remember somewhere this is familiar word, but I can't connect it quite where to put it, or maybe elaborate it a little bit so it comes back to mind.
No. Okay. So yeah, we will go there. So Amestris is the land from it's like the kingdom where the whole alchemist, the whole series takes place. And Amestris is also the name of the wife of Xerxes. And I think we have this later or like kind of to the end, to the anime, I think there's also this connection between like these two cities that would be like sibling cities or something like that. Or yeah, like a married couple. Because they are very similar and they have to work together on this whatever father wants to achieve. So yeah, we see this as a clear hint, I think, to say this is Persia. So we're talking about the ancient Persian Empire.
Mm.
What we see, what comes pretty quickly, they come across in the anime, is this sigil or this ancient ruin. And what they see on there is this two-headed dragon. Double-headed dragon, they say. Right. And this, I think, is pretty clearly also a connection to the Caduceus, to the Kundalini, to the Hermes staff.
Mm.
Right. And now we come to a part where I think I might figure out which city this could have been.
Okay.
Xerxes city. Yeah. Here we see the map of the anime again. So the same, it's just right, it's all the way on the east. And then we have Amestris, and here's Xerxes, the city.
Mm.
So Amestris was the wife of Xerxes. Krita, yeah, I would say it's like Crete or the Greek, maybe. Drachma could be anything, could be Russia. So if we would think like here, could be the Caucasus or whatever region. I also was thinking about maybe it's also the Greeks, because this is Crete is just the island Crete,
Mm.
and then drachma was the currency of Greek before the euro for thousands of years. Okay, but also when we look at the map today, yeah, we can see like the Persian Empire went all the way till the Indus River or Indus Valley. And then we have a lot of deserts. And this is the city, what I think was the city of Xerxes. This is the city they found in the Indus Valley region. And they found it by accident. It was just only this top right here was shown. And they thought it was like a Buddhist sculpture or something like that. I don't know how they call it. And they digged it out, and then I found some like flint charts and everything, and they were like, okay, it could be something big. So they dig the whole city out. This is called Mohenjo-Daro today, which means, they don't know the name, of course, which means the mountain of the dead. And they call it that because they found, first of all, this again, another two-headed animal, double-headed animal, with a staff and some trees. But also what I found is the skeletons all across the city in like really weird postures. So they wouldn't be buried. They were just like lying on stairs. Or just like somewhere. Yeah. And this reminds me also of the story of Xerxes. Because there was this catastrophic event where father took all the lives of the people who lived there, and they would just die, or they would just like collapse while they wherever they were doing and just fall down and maybe be on the stairs or be in the kitchen or whatever. And you don't know, they didn't know what happened in Amestris for a long time, right? So I think this is another hint for us to look at this Mohenjo-daro, and there's this crazy conspiracy today about this place because they don't know what happened there. But what they find is these skeletons, and what they always also found is like stone who went to class, what became class. It's called vitrification. It's like when stone gets heated very, very quickly, it turns into glass.
Yeah.
And what they also find is very high levels of radiation.
Wait. You don't mean that it could be a try of a first nuclear weapon or something like that? Because to be honest, it's one of the first thoughts I had after seeing like this picture where one's lying on the stairs and people are lying everywhere was yeah, looks like a nuclear bomb exploded right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that what we are talking about. I don't know. This is just a conspiracy.
There's
What is going
conspiracy,
on?
yeah.
Yeah, but it looks very similar to the story in Fullmetal Alchemist, because they didn't know what went wrong in Xerxes.
Mhm.
Same way, yeah, and just people around there, and there was ruins and just skeletons everywhere. And then I looked for hints if there would be something like a weapon like that. And I remember the movie Oppenheimer and the story about him. He took this idea of the atomic bomb, nuclear bomb, out of the Vedas, of the Vedic scriptures.
Mm.
And there is a thing in the Vedas they talk about, which sounds like an atomic or a nuclear bomb. It's called the Brahmastra. So Brahman, he he invented this weapon, right? They talk about that it was a too dangerous weapon, and they didn't want to have it. And in the Vedic Empire, I don't know, they didn't
Mhm.
want to have it stored, not even close to them, right? So they
Yeah.
took it and put it in a place called Trumatulya. I don't know what that means. Maybe Madhav, you can talk on this more. But also, let me finish that. They took it there and they talked about also of what might happen if this weapon goes on off. And it looks like a sun, and they said that nothing can grow there for a long time if it goes off. They said that everything was dead in a wide radius. People get sick when they stay there or when they were close to this, and even their children get sick. And all of that in the Veda scriptures.
Yeah.
Weapon that you're talking about is called Brahmastra, the weapon that Brahma created. And according to the scriptures, like Mahabharata, which is like the Bible, like one of the many Bibles of Hindu culture, but one of the greatest, I mean, the top authority Bibles. And according to the Mahabharata, it was used in the war of Mahabharata, which is considered the greatest war of all time, which happened near Delhi in India. The place was called, I don't remember the place of the name of the place, but yeah, so it was
Was it
considered
not
to be as
Trumatulya?
no.
No. Okay.
If you spell it to me, I think I'll be able to figure out what place you're talking about. But the war
Yeah.
of Mahabharata happened near Delhi. And yeah, the place was called Kurukshetra.
Okay.
Yeah. And in that war, the weapon was used multiple times. And it is said to be as powerful as the hydrogen bomb.
Crazy, crazy that they have this story in there. And they talk of like it was really the most fascinating thing for me was that they really talk about the effects this swamp had. Yeah, like the people getting sick, nothing can grow, even like degeneration after the people who got affected by that in a wide radius, their children were sick. And all of this, it sounds really like this what we have today, the radiation disease, yeah.
Yeah, of course. It's very, very similar, the description and what we know now about yeah, atomic bombs and radiation as well.
What the
There's
anime,
a
yeah,
now I just recall that there's a connection between Mohenjo-daro and Kurukshetra where the war happened.
okay. Yeah.
And yeah, so people, according to some theorists, theorists, what theorists are those called?
Conspiracy theorist.
Conspiracy theorists. The the people that were near the Indus River and where Mohenjo-daro is now, it is in Pakistan.
Yeah.
They moved downwards during about the same time.
Okay. All right. Crazy.
Yeah, but this is really not actually checked.
True.
This is something I just came across.
Just hearsay, you could say.
Yeah,
Hmm?
it's not confirmed. Yeah, this is just a conspiracy or a theory. But I think the anime wants to give us the same impression, wants to give us like a little hint also in this direction. I say, yeah, maybe there's something to it, and maybe it wasn't an atomic or an hydrogen bomb as we know it today. Maybe it was another technology, but had the same effects, right?
Yeah, but that it is quite possible that humanity in the past found the material which have radiation in it, and to utilize it in a way so that it could hurt or benefit someone, or let's say that they even experiment with those materials is quite possible, but to forge a weapon out of it, it's hard to believe. Maybe it's my new age zeitgeist the way of thinking that we are superior than the humanity or humans in the past, which don't allow it, but it's crazy.
And it's mind-boggling. I have the same,
Yeah,
but it's
mind-boggling. Very mind-boggling.
yeah. But if I have the same feeling sometimes if I look at the Great Pyramids and stuff like that. When I think like how advanced are we today if we can't even build it, and
Mm.
don't know how they did it. So why, there's another thing when we say we are advanced and we're more, we're better or more advanced.
Mm.
But then we have this huge structures we can't build, you know, it takes like too much time to do it. Yeah. Um, yeah, and this is what I want to show. And another argument I think speaks maybe a bit for that is, there could be a civilization, it could have been, which was wiped out due to something like that maybe. And we don't even, we didn't even know it because we were still in the Stone Age. And
Mm.
I see that, because we have that today. We are like really advanced people. We have the internet, we have satellites, we go like to the moon and whatever, and have airplanes, and still at the same time on this planet there are tribes. There are like really primitive tribes on the planet that don't have anything of that. And I think
Mm.
it would be really smart if our society would like fall down, collapse, for the survivors to go to these tribes because they know how to survive in nature and we don't anymore,
Mm.
right? and to bring the
Yeah.
knowledge to these tribes with them.
Yeah, the debate on the older ancient technology versus modern day technology is I think it is ancient. The debate has become ancient and obsolete now. And yeah, but it still keeps going on. And there are also, in fact, Hindu saints. There's a saint who was called Sushruta, who first introduced plastic surgery.
What did he
And
introduce?
Sushruta, plastic surgery.
Plastic
He used to do
surgery.
plastic surgery.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
and
okay.
the procedure of his plastic surgery is still in the books of Ayurveda.
Mm.
And yeah, and it's
Wow.
in fact, and there are also and Sushruta was about 800 BC.
Wow. Okay. Crazy. What? Yeah.
That's
What?
he introduced
Yeah.
this surgery.
This is crazy, man. This is intense. Yeah, I think what we see in archaeology today with also with the in places like what is it called in Turkey? Um Göbekli Tepe. It's a dig site when they found out that it was around 12,000 years old when humanity was thought to be like just gatherers, but now we have this structure they built, and it implies that there was a settlement or like something where people frequently came to and worship anything like a religious ground or something. But yeah, before that we thought they were all hunter-gatherers and nothing else. And now we have this and we see, okay, 12,000 years ago they built already structures and they had like kind of settlements and whatever like that. And in the same in the Greek world, we find out now that we have like lots of um, language specialists who read the ancient Greek, that they were really advanced in medicine, way ahead sometimes than we are today with polypharmacy. They had some cruel methods to get all this stuff with animals and even with humans, to inject humans with venoms, and then out of their sweat or out of their breast milk, they would derive the antidote for anything or whatever. But yeah, they were really, yeah, going on and really smart back then. I think this is the thing we are maybe ignorant or arrogant about today. We think like they were primitive people back then, but I think they still, they had the same minds than we have now. They would just use it in different ways, with the resources they had.
True.
Even astrology was is so old in all cultures. In the Western astrology or the Eastern astrology, they're all really, really ancient. And they also knew the exact degrees at which the planet is tilted without the telescopes that we have today or whatever technology we have today.
Yes,
Mm.
yes. Yeah, this is another incredible thing. I think we should do an episode about that because we found that in a very ancient myth all around the world. We found always the same numbers, the same hints and signs to astrology, and that they knew about the precision about the equinox, this like tilting, wobbling notion of the earth, like so much time, so long ago. And then in these stories, they want to like kind of show us, yeah, we knew that. So don't discredit us. We knew that already. You will figure it out in like 2,000 years, but we knew it already.
Do you really think that's the reason they manifest those ideas in like writings or scriptures? Just to
That we,
say to future people, we are also smart?
yeah, and also to like, not just that, but what do you get if you tell someone, hey, we know that? Then they
Mm.
are more serious and they may pay more attention to whatever else you write, and whatever else you want to teach.
Mm.
So it gives
Okay.
credibility.
Okay, okay. To be honest, I think a little bit different about those scriptures because, for example, 1,000 years ago in Europe, that was a privilege to know how to read and write, and just a few people, a few minority, small minority of the population knew those today basic skills.
Mm.
And the importance of those skills is because, let's say we have a tribe of 100 people. They accumulate over time by experimenting and observing their surroundings and the materials they have and tools they got, um, accumulate knowledge. And but this knowledge is bound to mortality, to our personal self, because I can know, for example, one person can know everything in the world, how it works, what's necessary, and so on and so on. But if the person dies and he never shared his wisdom or put it into words or in scripture, this knowledge would be lost. So to have those scriptures or make those scriptures is the utility in it, that the wisdom is not bound to mortality and can prevail after death. After the person who shared this wisdom, it can still be used and applied. And this is how humanity by itself progresses over time. And we need those methods to capture this knowledge and somehow may it be in a story, may it be in today, how do you say it?
Service.
Yeah, service or something like that. Somehow it has to be transmitted,
Preserved. Books,
preserved.
service. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Put
for
into
other
stone.
observers to observe.
Right. So yeah. But what still, if you have this, if there was something like that in a culture who figured all this stuff out, and had maybe atomic bombs,
Mm,
right? How would you preserve the knowledge about it? You would do the same things we do, put it in stories, in books, written on, put it on stone, give it like a, I don't know, a nice, jingle, rhyme form,
yeah,
make a poem, people to understand, and yeah, servers. Now we have these like on CDs or like on glass or quartz crystals or something like that. But all of that will be vanish in time. We have this, with the pyramid, for example, in Giza. There's knowledge coded into that, the
mm,
width, the length of the pyramid, the height of the pyramid, and all of that represents something. That wants to show something. Yeah. And with the Göbekli Tepe, for example, it seems like it was buried intentionally to preserve whatever they had built and put it on the earth, so it will preserve, it will hold for future generations. But there's always a problem with the preserving knowledge. Like books can burn, servers can run out of energy, stone will eventually, wither.
yeah. And I, now that you say this, I remember, for example, when the communists or the ideology of communism manifests in a society, one of the first steps they took was to go to everyone's houses and burn every religious scripture they could find. So the next generation are don't have access to the knowledge of Christianity, let's say it this way. And it's because Karl Marx, who is the inventor of communism, to say so, or who manifested those ideas first, um, also said that religion is the opioid of the people, for the people, the opioid for the people. So it's necessary to a healthy or a good society to get rid of the drug, the opioid.
Yeah.
And yeah,
So you want to say like maybe also this stuff was destroyed on purpose from some
maybe.
people. Yeah.
It's well, it could be, yes, of course,
Yeah.
because
Yes,
it's
the church did the same thing, you know, and it would
yeah,
also burn books. And yeah, I think we know we have it with the mass media
yeah,
on various occasions that they would not tell the whole truth, you know.
or redact part of the truth.
Yeah.
So it's more appealing for a group of people.
Right. So yeah, here we see again the notion of the mediator, Mithras, who has and holds all the power because he gives the information. He is Mercury, Hermes, Buddha. He's the philosopher's stone.
Mm.
Thank you guys. That was the presentation. I really
Thank you for the
enjoyed.
presentation.
Hope the viewer enjoyed and got some inspiration out of that.
Crazy discuss all this research multi that we do is really overwhelming. I don't know where you get this from, but you're a crazy, crazy man. It was a really nice presentation, bro.
Thanks.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm
Enjoy
sorry
it.
if my audio or video could not be very clear in this episode because I'm traveling.
And then we know the Wi-Fi or whatever is sometimes bad. But still, I appreciate you were here and thank you for your input as well.
Thank you for the presentation, man. Also, Mickey, bro.
Yeah, thank you also from my side.
All right. Peace out.